Okay, so good morning and welcome into class. Let's start as we usually do. So if you're not already, then rolling yourself down onto the back of the body, making sure that the spine feels as long as we can make it. So before we extend the legs, just lift the pelvis, see if you can lengthen the spine a little further, lift through the chest, again, lengthen, lifting the head, seeing if we can elongate the spine as much as we can. And then let's bring the legs into butterfly. So soles of the feet come together, knees draw down towards the floor. Bringing the arms up overhead, taking hold of the elbows, and then allowing the arms to soften down into the floor. Allowing the eyes here to softly close. Giving yourself some time, some space to anchor into the breath and the body. Take a moment to notice, to watch the body and the breath, to notice how the body feels, to notice the movement of the breath. And then inhaling deeply down into the belly. Exhaling, releasing the arms back down, and then bringing the hands to support the thighs and bringing the knees back up towards the sky. Hugging the knees into the chest, really working to squeeze the knees towards the armpits and releasing. And then let's bring the hands over the knees and create small circles with the knees first in one direction. And then let's go back the other way. So creating those same circles, but in the opposite direction this time. And then bringing the knees to a still point, bringing the arms out to the side. Let's bring the feet down to the floor. And then as we inhale and exhale, dropping the knees down towards the right, turn the head to look out to the left. Allow the eyes to close. See if we can soften through the shoulders, soften through the jaw. And then inhaling, lifting the knees back up to center. Let's peel the pelvis off the floor. So feet stay firmly planted, lifting the pelvis, peeling the spine, lifting up. And exhaling, releasing down, lowering one vertebra at a time back down towards the floor. Once more, inhale. And then exhale as we take the knees down to the left, head turns to look out to the right. See if you can soften a little further through the legs. So see if you are hanging on to your left leg, whether there's any extra tension there. See if you can soften, release the knee, the thigh, the ankle, so that leg rests down on the floor. Inhale, lifting up. Exhaling. Once more, let's peel the spine up off the floor. So inhale, lift through the pelvis, peel the spine, lifting up. Exhaling, releasing one vertebra at a time back down towards the floor. Inhaling. And then exhaling, knees come down to the opposite side. So knees come down to the right. Option this time to either stay as you were the last time, or we can lift the lower leg. So lifting your right leg out from underneath, crossing it over the top leg, and then just gently allowing that extra body weight to increase the stretch for you. Pausing with the eyes closed. Seeing if we can exhale tension. So aiming to soften the entire body with each exhalation. Working to soften not just where you feel the sensations of the stretch, but also checking in with the shoulders, the neck, the jaw. And then unwrapping the legs. Inhale, bringing the knees back up to center, exhaling. And then inhale, lifting the pelvis, peeling the spine, lifting up. Exhaling, rolling the spine back down. And then returning the pelvis to the floor. Let's release the knees down to the left, head turns to look out to the right. And again, if you would like to, if you did so on the previous side, lifting your left leg this time out from underneath, crossing it over the top leg. And again, just allowing that body weight to gently increase the stretch for you. Pausing with the eyes closed. Becoming aware of the sensations of the stretch. Aiming to breathe into any tightness and to exhale as we soften, as that tightness gently releases. Aiming to stay with the sensations of the body. Noticing when the mind wanders away, when you get lost in thoughts. And aiming to bring ourselves back into the body and into the breath. Unwrapping the legs, inhaling, bringing the knees back up to center. And then once more, let's hug the knees into the chest. Gently rocking from side to side. And then coming back to center. Let's bring the arms out to shoulder height, leaving the knees in close to the chest. Inhale. And then engaging the core, exhaling as we take the knees down towards the right elbow. Head turns to look out to the left. And then again, taking the awareness into the body. See if we can soften the left shoulder down towards the floor. See if we can soften a little further through the knees. And then engaging through the core, inhale, let's lift back up to center. Keeping the core strong, exhaling, taking the knees down towards the left. Head turns to look out to the right. Again, seeing if we can soften. Seeing if you can release and let go a little further through the legs, through the hip, as well as through the right shoulder. Inhale, lifting up. And then once more to each side. So exhale, sweeping the knees back over towards the right. This time we have the option to extend, so lengthening through the legs. Maybe catching the legs with the hand. Head turns to look away. Again, aiming to soften through the shoulder. Seeing if we can gently roll through the top hip so that the hips are stacked one on top of the other. A good guide for this is whether the feet are stacked one on top of the other. So you might like to have a sneak peek at your feet, checking if they are stacked one on top of the other. And then returning the head back to look out to the left. Gently bending through the knees, engaging through the core, inhaling, lifting, and then exhaling, coming over to the second side. So again, option here to extend, and maybe we can catch the hand, the legs with the hand. Head turns to look out to the right. And again, checking in with the feet. and the hips. So working to roll that top hip away slightly so that we bring the feet so that they're stacked one on top of the other. Taking the awareness into the body. Noticing what you notice. Perhaps there are differences from one side to the other side. Just aiming to observe, to notice those differences, to notice the sensations that you're experiencing in this moment. And then gently releasing, so bending through the knees, inhaling, engaging the core, lifting the knees back up to center, squeezing them in towards the armpits once more. And then let's take the feet up into the sky, engaging through the core, and then slowly lowering the heels of the feet down towards the floor. From here, bringing the hands to the heart, or alternatively, we can bring the hands flat to the floor underneath the lower back. From either position, we lift the head looking to the toes, engaging through the core, pushing the hands either down into the floor or into each other. And then inhaling as we lift to sit up. From here, let's swing the legs around, tucking the toes under, pausing for a moment here and aiming to find a stretch through the feet and also through the calf muscles. So actively work to push the heels of the feet back behind you. You might find that the knees almost lift off the floor, and that's absolutely fine as long as you're feeling that stretch. And then bringing the feet down to the floor, stretching through the backs of the legs, allowing the head to dangle down towards the floor, taking hold of the elbows, and then let's gently sway from side to side. Allowing your head to soften, releasing through the neck, through the shoulders. And you're welcome to keep a soft bend through the knees here. So there's no need to lock the knees out. Keeping a gentle bend, noticing where you feel the stretch. And then let's release the hands down towards the floor, softening the head. Inhaling slowly, winding the spine up. So tucking the tailbone under, working to stack one vertebra on top of the next until we come all the way up to standing. Once you get to standing, having a bit of a shake out. And then let's roll ourselves back down once more. So making sure when we start that we are long through the spine. Core is just slightly engaged so that we are supporting the spine to maintain that length. Releasing the chin down towards the chest. Softening through the shoulders. Releasing one vertebra at a time as we roll the body down. Releasing through the pelvis, feeling that tailbone lifting up towards the sky. Taking the hands once more to the elbows, swinging from side to side. And then working your way back to center, releasing the hands down towards the floor. And then tucking the tailbone under, stacking one vertebra on top of the next as we roll the body back. Coming all the way up to standing, keeping that chin in towards the chest until we really reach all the way up towards the sky. Pausing with the eyes closed, checking in with the shoulders here. So working to take the shoulders back and down, feeling the shoulder blades traveling down towards the floor. At the same time, lifting and lengthening through the front of the body. Feeling the pelvis in a neutral position, so both the tailbone and the pubic bone draw down towards the floor. Pausing, bringing the awareness into the breath. And then gently blinking the eyes open. Rolling through the shoulders. And then let's work with some helicopter swings. So bringing your feet about hip width distance apart. Again, making sure that there's just a slight bend through the knees. And then hands come parallel in front of you at hip height. Making sure that you have plenty of space around you. And then swinging the arms back behind you. Watching the backhand as it travels behind you. Slowly increasing the height of your swing. So working your way up to shoulder height. Sweeping the arms up towards the crown of the head, and then all the way up into the sky. Working our way back down. So working our way back to shoulder height, continuing to watch the backhand as it travels behind you so that we're getting a really good rotation here through the spine. And then allowing the arms to come back down by your side, allowing them to come to a still point. When they do, let's step the feet together, pausing with the eyes closed again, finding Tadasana, the pose of the mountain. So soles of the feet press firmly down into the floor, lengthening through the spine. Feeling the crown of the head, the very center of your head, lifting up into the sky. Feeling as though your head is amongst the clouds. And at the same time, your feet are pushing down into the earth. Blinking the eyes open, just pedaling the legs out for a moment. And then once more, finding that strong position. So feeling that we are strong and stable as the mountain, and then coming into tree pose. So leaving your right foot down on the floor, bending through the left knee. We've got 3 different options here. First option is to leave the balls of the feet down on the floor. Heel of the foot comes in to rest towards the ankle of the standing leg. Second option is to bring the foot in towards the calf muscle. Third option is to bring the foot up into the thigh. So working with whichever variation feels right for you, choosing a focal point that is at least a couple of meters ahead of you, something that is still. And then let's see if we can bring the hands to the heart. Keeping that length through the spine, continuing to push down into that standing foot, continuing to grow taller and longer through the body. And then let's take the arms out to the side, turning the palms of the hands to face up towards the sky. Inhaling, taking the arms up overhead. Feeling those fingertips pointing up towards the sky, maybe bringing the palms of the hands together. Inhaling and exhaling, circling the arms back down and releasing the leg. Pedaling the legs out and then preparing to work with the opposite side. So this time, left leg stays firmly planted down on the floor, lifting and lengthening through the spine, and then coming into position. So any of those 3 positions, either leaving the ball of the foot down on the floor, bringing the foot in towards the calf, or into the thigh. Pushing the sole of your right foot into the thigh or the leg, and then pushing the leg back into that foot so that we stay strong and tall. Bringing the hands to the heart. Finding your focal point out in front of you. And then seeing if we can release the arms out to the side, turning the palms of the hands to face up towards the sky. And then with your next inhalation, see if we can take the arms up overhead. Fingers stretch up towards the sky, and then maybe bringing the palms of the hands together. One breath here. So inhaling deeply, staying tall, staying strong, and exhaling. Releasing the hands all the way back down. And then releasing the leg, pedaling the legs out once more. And circling through the shoulders as well. Let's step the feet wide apart. So feet are coming about wrist width distance apart, and then interlacing the hands behind the body. So feet are nice and wide apart. We bring the hands behind the body, interlacing the fingers, drawing the shoulder blades back and down, keeping the core engaged. And then let's take the hands down towards the floor, continuing to squeeze the arms together, lifting the arms up towards the sky. And then from here, seeing if we can fold forward. So inhaling, exhaling as we fold the body forward, taking the arms up towards the sky, releasing the head down towards the floor. Feeling the stretch here. Continuing to squeeze the shoulder blades together, squeezing the arms together, triceps draw towards each other. And then gently releasing the hands, aiming to take the thumbs down towards the tailbone. Softening through the shoulders, releasing the fingers, and then gently giving a rub through the backs of the legs. From here, bringing the hands to the elbows, and then gently pulsing through the upper body. Taking the forearms over towards the right. Continuing with that pulsing motion. And then coming back to center and over to the left. Working your way back to center once more to each side. Back to center. And last side. Working your way back to center, releasing the hands down to the floor, leaving the feet connected with the floor, gently swaying backwards and forwards. So hands or fingertips might be planted comfortably down on the floor. Toes stay down on the floor, heels stay on the floor, just gently exploring with shifting the weight backwards and forwards. And then coming back to center. Let's step the feet back in. So bring the toes and then the heels in until the feet come underneath the body. And then bringing the hands to the hips, bending slightly through the knees, inhaling, lifting the body up, staying strong through the core, and then returning all the way up to standing. From here, let's come down to the knees, working with a side stretch here from kneeling. So extending out through your left leg. So left leg is long. We inhale, bring the arms up to shoulder height, making sure as we move here that the core is strong. Inhaling and then exhaling as we come down towards the right. So option to come either onto a fist, or you might like to come down onto the flat hand and then reaching away with your top hand. If you're feeling comfortable and balanced here, we can look out to the top hand. So really working to stretch that top arm away so that we find a stretch here through the side body. Checking in with the hips. So making sure here that your lower hip, right hip, is not collapsing down. We want to work to open up through the chest as well as through the hips. So if you find that you need a little extra space, come back up onto your fist, and that might just help you push that lower hip, right hip further forward. Let's come up. So engaging through the core, inhaling, lifting up, and exhaling, coming over. Again, reaching up and away, this time with the right hand. Finding that stretch once more through the side body, and again, keeping an eye on the hips. So what tends to happen here is that your left hip this time will dip over so that you feel like you can reach further with that top arm. So rather than reaching further, let's open back up through the hips, feeling how that then helps you to open through the chest, and then looking up to the top hand. Inhaling, engaging the core as we lift up. Once more to each side. So core stays strong. Exhaling, folding over, coming either onto the fist or a flat hand, reaching away through the top hand, checking in with the hips, opening through the chest. And then engaging the core, inhaling, lifting, exhaling, folding over. Seeing if we can soften through the shoulders. Again, keeping that awareness through the hips, noticing where you feel the sensations of the stretch. And then inhaling, lifting up. Let's release the arms down, draw the leg back in, and then working with the opposite side. So this time, right leg extends out to the side. We bring the arms up to shoulder height, remembering to keep the core strong as we move. Inhale. And then exhaling, coming down either onto that fist or onto a flat hand, reaching away through the top arm. If you're feeling balanced, if it feels okay for the neck, then we can look up to that top hand, checking in with the hips, with the pelvis, opening through the chest, and then engaging through the core. Inhale, lifting up, exhaling, reaching over. So again, just checking in here with the hips, making sure we're not collapsing down through that hip. So pelvis stays square towards the long end of your mat, reaching up and away through that top hand. And again, finding that stretch through the side body. Inhale, let's lift up once more to each side. Exhaling, coming down, reaching away, taking the awareness into the body, noticing where you feel the stretch. And then engaging the core. Inhale, lifting. Exhaling, coming over to the right. Opening through the chest. Reaching away, creating length through the side body. Inhaling, lifting up. And exhaling, let's release the hands, bringing the legs back in, and then coming down to a seated position. So coming down, bringing the soles of the feet together. Again, knees are wide apart. Seeing if we can bring the heels of the feet in towards the pelvis. And then let's bring the hands around the ankles. Elbows come in towards the knees, and then rocking from side to side. So giving those glute muscles here a bit of a massage. Also a challenge sometimes for our balance, this one. So if you do roll over, don't worry. You're not the first person, you won't be the last, and unless you're practicing with a buddy, no one can see you. This is the beauty of online yoga. All right, coming back to center. And then seeing if we can bring those heels a little closer in, interlacing the fingers, bringing the fingers around the toes, lifting and lengthening through the spine, and then feathering through the knees, allowing the eyes to close, allowing the knees to bounce up and down. Continuing to work to lift and lengthen the spine out of the pelvis, lengthening through the back of the neck, feeling the crown of the head lifting up towards the sky. And then gently blinking the eyes open, allowing the knees to come to a still point. Let's create two fists with the hands and bring those fists around, bringing them in as close as you can to the buttocks. Lifting the pelvis off the floor, pushing the pelvis towards the heels of the feet, and at the same time, working to take the knees down towards the floor. From here, if you're feeling up to it, bringing the soles of the feet together, lifting the heels off the floor, and then aiming to walk one knee and then the other down towards the floor. If you're having trouble touching the knees to the floor, my suggestion is to think about opening through the front body. So drawing the shoulder blades together so that we can open through the chest, and that creates a little extra length. And you'll notice that my knees have just dropped down to the floor. Now that may not have happened for you. That's absolutely okay. We're working to continue stepping the knees down to the floor. And then if both knees are on the floor, we can lift the pelvis off the heels. Let's inhale, bringing the knees back up to the nose. And then bringing the soles of the feet back down to the floor, releasing all of yourself to the floor, extending the legs out long, having a nice shake out through the wrists and the legs. Let's come into a comfortable seated position, preparing ourselves for Yoga Mudra. So as always, if you do need to work with the legs extended, you're welcome to. If you have something nearby that you can use to prop the hips up, you're welcome to do that. Sitting on a block or a bolster or a blanket will help make it easier to sit in this position. Bringing the hands into position, so the forefinger comes into the pad of the thumb, remaining three fingers are outstretched and together. Pausing with the eyes closed, let's lift and lengthen through the spine. As always, we will work 3 times, so you're welcome to work with the eyes closed. Otherwise, gently blinking them open. We inhale, sweeping the arms back in line with the hips, drawing them up to shoulder height, softening through the wrists and the ankles. And then folding the body forward, crossing the wrists over the lower back, bowing the forehead down towards the floor. As we bow this first time in respect for self. Today is, of course, Valentine's Day. We often think about the loved ones in our lives, but pausing for a moment to reflect on self-love. The qualities that you admire about yourself, the effort that you have put into cultivating those qualities. Bowing in respect for self. Inhaling, lifting the body up, bringing the arms out to shoulder height, softening through the wrists and the elbows. And then exhaling, releasing the hands down in line with the hips, sweeping the arms forward, and then bringing the backs of the hands to rest over the knees. Pausing with the eyes closed, inhaling and exhaling. Working a second time. So this time we inhale, sweeping the arms back in line with the hips, drawing them up to shoulder height, softening. Exhaling, folding the body forward, crossing the wrists over the lower back, bowing the forehead down towards the floor. Bowing this second time in respect for others. Pausing to send some love to others. Perhaps to others who hold an important position in your life, to whom you feel close. Perhaps sending some love to those who maybe we have some negative emotions towards. Sending love out to those who we feel close with, as well as those who we feel challenged by. Inhaling, lifting the body up, bringing the arms out to shoulder height, softening. And then exhaling, releasing the hands down in line with the hips, sweeping the arms forward, bringing the backs of the hands to the knees. Pausing with the eyes closed, inhaling and exhaling. Working a third and final time. Let's inhale, sweep the arms back in line with the hips, drawing them up to shoulder height, softening. And then exhaling, folding the body forward, crossing the wrists over the lower back, bowing the forehead down towards the floor. Bowing this third and final time in respect for all that is. Taking that emotion, that sense or feeling of love, wrapping it not just around those you care about, wrapping it around yourself and then the world as a whole. Inhaling, lifting the body up, bringing the arms out to shoulder height, softening through the wrists and the elbows. Exhaling, releasing the hands down in line with the hips, sweeping the arms forward, bringing the backs of the hands to rest over the knees. Leaving the eyes closed, gently softening through the elbows, releasing the fingers. Allowing yourself to pause, to experience that sense of love. Gently blinking the eyes open, extending the legs out long, taking a moment to point and flex through the feet. And then working with a spine twist. So bending through the knees, bringing the feet flat to the floor. And then from here, let's reach through to take hold of the left ankle, drawing the left leg underneath the body, and then bringing the right foot to the other side of the knee. Working to sit up nice and tall here. Now, if you notice that you have one sitting bone, your right sitting bone lifting up off the floor, extend your left leg, so the lower leg, extend that one out long, and you should find that you're able to bring both sitting bones back down to the floor. So working from either position, let's cup the hands by the hips, lengthening through the spine. Looking out to the left, we inhale, bringing the left arm up to shoulder height. Exhaling, sweeping the arm around the knee, and then turning to look out to the right. Inhale, bringing the right arm up to shoulder height. Exhaling, sweeping the arm back behind you, either drawing the hand down to the floor or maybe reaching around towards the lower back and the hip. Inhaling, lifting and lengthening, seeing if we can grow a little taller. Exhaling, twisting. Feeling the twist running through the spine. Listening to the body, making sure that we're not pushing ourselves too hard. We're respecting the body, but at the same time, we're feeling the twist and feeling the stretch. Inhaling, bringing the head back to center, releasing the hands back to starting position, allowing the eyes to close. Let's inhale a nice deep breath. Coloring that breath with love, with light. Exhaling it out through the body. Blinking the eyes open, and then working with the opposite side. So this time reaching through to take hold of the right ankle, drawing the right leg underneath the body. Or if you know that you're working with one leg extended, right leg extends out long. From either position, then we reach the left leg over to the other side of the knee and of the body. Lifting and lengthening through the spine, let's cup the hands by the hips and then turning to look out to the right. We inhale, right arm comes up to shoulder height. Exhaling, sweeping the arm around the knee and then turning to look out to the left. Inhaling, left arm comes up to shoulder height. Exhaling, sweeping the arm back behind you and then drawing it either down to the floor or reaching around towards the lower back, aiming to bring the hand towards the hip, maybe even taking hold of the thigh. Inhaling, lifting and lengthening, stretching tall, and then exhaling as we twist. Looking out over the back shoulder, feeling that twist as it travels through the spine. Visualizing the connection between mind and body, the nerves working as best they can, radiating out from the brain down through the spine and out into the body. Inhaling, exhaling, releasing the head back to center, bringing the hands back to starting position, pausing with the eyes closed. Inhaling deeply. And then imagining that breath traveling out through all of the nerves of the body. Blinking the eyes open, unwrapping the legs. Let's roll down onto the back of the body. So rolling yourself all the way down and then hugging the knees into the chest. Gently rocking from side to side. And then coming back to center, preparing to work with the wedge. So bringing the hands over the knees, we run the hands down the shins and then bringing the feet flat to the floor as close as we comfortably can to the body. Bringing the palms of the hands down to the floor and then inhaling, lifting the pelvis, peeling the spine off the floor, lifting up as high as we can, and then lifting the heels of the feet off the floor. So coming onto the tippy toes, interlacing the hands underneath the body. So squeezing the shoulder blades together. So we come up as high as we can onto the shoulders, the arms, the upper arms. And then releasing the grip of the hands. Hands come either under the buttocks or under the lower back to support us. Maybe you can bring the heels of the feet back down to the floor here. Otherwise, staying up on the balls of the feet, continuing to work to lift through the pelvis. So legs are strong, knees point up into the sky. So making sure we're not splaying open with the legs. And then breathing deeply down into the belly. So inhale, expanding through the belly as we inhale. And then exhaling, allowing the belly to soften. Once more, inhaling deeply. And exhaling, allowing the belly to soften. One more inhale. And exhale. Releasing the heels up off the floor, bringing the hands back down to the floor. Heels come to the floor and then rolling the spine back down. So releasing one vertebra at a time back down to the floor and then hugging the knees into the chest and again rocking from side to side. Working your way back to center, taking the feet up into the sky, hands come down to the floor, palms face down, and then slowly keeping control through the abdomen as we lower the heels down towards the floor. Once the feet find the floor, let's turn the palms of the hands to face up towards the sky, softening through the legs, allowing the eyes to close, and allowing the breath to flow down into the belly. Noticing whether perhaps the breath flows a little more easily, a little more comfortably, naturally down into the belly. Opening up through the front of the body in this way helps us to work with the vagus nerve, helping to calm down the body. And then blinking the eyes open, let's work our way up to a seated position. So either the hands come in front of the chest into prayer position or flat to the floor underneath the back of the body. Inhale, Engaging the core, lifting up, and then leaving the legs extended out long. Let's work with creative power pose. So cupping the hands by the hips, inhaling, circling the arms up, reaching up, lengthening through the spine, and then exhaling as we fold the body forward. Taking hold of the legs anywhere between the knees and the big toes. So maybe we hold onto the shins, maybe you can reach the big toes. Inhaling, lifting and lengthening. Exhaling, folding the body forward, aiming to take the heart out towards the toes. So rather than crunching through the spine and taking the head towards the knees, keeping the spine long and lifted, reaching that heart out towards the toes. Breathing here. And then releasing the grip on the legs, reaching the fingers out nice and long, bringing the arms alongside the ears, keeping the core strong as we inhale, lifting up. Exhaling, circling the arms down, interlacing the fingers, balancing with the feet off the floor for a moment. Pausing here. And then bringing the feet down to the floor. Let's make sure that you're sitting firmly on the sitting bones, lifting the legs, lengthening through the spine, seeing if we can bring the shins so that they are parallel with the floor, staying strong here through the core, and then reaching the fingers out towards the toes. From here, continuing to lift and lengthen through the spine, lifting through the heart. And then maybe we can straighten one leg and releasing, straightening the other leg and releasing. Once more to each side. So straightening your first leg, releasing, and second leg, and releasing. Bringing the feet down to the floor, bringing the hands back behind you. Let's drop the knees from one side to the other side. And then coming back to center, rolling yourself down so that we lie on the front of the body. Preparing to work with a variation of the bow. So making sure that the spine feels nice and long, just turning your head to one side for a moment. And then let's bring the arms, the hands underneath the thighs. Turning the head so that the forehead comes to rest on the floor, lifting the shoulders off the floor so the shoulder blades start to travel down towards those back pockets. Maybe you can shift the hands a little further underneath the thighs, moving the hands down towards the knees. And then inhaling, lifting, looking forward, lifting through the chest. Maybe staying here, maybe this is enough. Or pushing the hands into the thighs, helping you lift the feet off the floor. Looking forward, seeing if we can lift up a little higher. Breathing deeply. One more breath. Inhale. Exhaling. Inhaling. And then exhaling, lowering down, turning the head to one side, releasing the hands out from under you, pausing comfortably with the eyes closed. From here, working our way into either Cobra or Sphinx. So bringing the hands flat to the floor on the outside of the shoulders, forearms come down to the floor, elbows draw in towards the ribs. If there are any lower back issues, then rather than this setup, which is for Cobra, we want to work with the Sphinx. So bringing the hands, one hand's length forward, staying down on the forearms, lifting to look forward. So for either position, we gently push down into the hands. We lift the head looking forward, lifting through the chest. And then if you're coming into the full position, we push down into the hands, lifting the pelvis, No, don't lift the pelvis. Let's lift the ribs and the belly off the floor. Pelvis stays firmly down on the floor, looking forward, lengthening through the spine, keeping a bend through the elbows if you are in cobra. We continue to draw the elbows in towards the ribs and lengthening through the spine. So whether you are in Sphinx or Cobra, we work to lengthen through the spine, creating a gentle squeeze over the heart. So pushing the heart forward, inhaling and exhaling, lengthening through the spine as we lower down, tucking the chin under, forehead comes to the floor, and then turning the palms of the hands up to face towards the sky, turning the head to one side, heels of the feet come in towards the buttocks, and then flopping the feet from one side to the other side. Working your way back to center with the legs, releasing them down to the floor, pushing into the hands. Let's come up and into the pose of the child. So a wide-legged pose of the child here. So legs come a little wider than hip width distance apart, resting the buttocks down on the heels of the feet, walking the arms forward, and then sinking the body down towards the floor. Allowing the forehead to rest comfortably on the floor, lengthening through the body, softening. And then lifting yourself up, let's come to lie down on the back of the body. So rolling yourself all the way down, and then finding our way into the pose of tranquility. So visualizing this one, if it's not going to be comfortable for you to work, if it's going to create any discomfort through the shoulders or through the neck, you might like to visualize yourself doing this one. Otherwise, bringing the feet up into the sky, pushing the palms of the hands down into the floor, and then inhaling, exhaling as we take the feet back behind the head. So pressure here is not on the neck, it's on the upper back. Sweeping the arms around towards the toes, and then bringing the hands to the feet and slowly walking the hands up the legs so that we can find a point of balance here. Feet are about hip width distance apart. And again, there's not any pressure on my neck. I'm resting really on my upper back. Breathing here, feeling a gentle squeeze through the throat. And then gently releasing yourself back down. So lowering the hands back down overhead, rolling the body back down. So releasing one vertebra at a time back down towards the floor. Keeping the legs strong, keeping the core engaged, lowering the heels of the feet down to the floor. And then releasing the hands down as well. Working our way from here into the fish. So bending through the knees, feet come flat to the floor, lifting the pelvis, interlacing the thumbs underneath the body so that we can squeeze the shoulder blades together, lowering yourself back down, unlocking the thumbs, lengthening the legs out long, and then pushing down into the elbows. And again, making sure that we don't turn the head as we lift up into this position. So pushing into the elbows, we lift the heart up into the sky and allow the head to drape back behind you. Continuing to work to lift, to push the chest up into the sky, softening through the head, through the neck. And then gently releasing, so lengthening the spine as we lower down. Pushing into the heels of the feet, releasing the hands, turning the palms of the hands to face up towards the sky. And then let's slowly turn the head from one side to the other side. From here, gently pausing, inhaling and exhaling. moving slowly and gently, trying to preserve that sense of stillness, that sense of peace and calm that we've created, working our way up into a seated position, and then coming over to work with the elephant. So coming onto all fours, again, moving slowly, moving gently, tuck toes under, taking the tailbone up into the sky and stepping the feet to mat width distance apart. Allowing the head to drape down towards the floor, allowing yourself to soften, to release and relax through the neck, through the shoulders, through the head. Pausing here. And then gently lifting the heels of the feet off the floor, stepping the feet back together, bringing the knees down to the floor, untucking the toes, and then sinking the buttocks back towards the heels, creating two fists with the hands and resting your forehead on your fists. Gently inhaling, lifting yourself up, finding a comfortable cross-legged position. Pausing with the eyes closed for a moment, bringing the backs of the hands to rest over the knees, palms of the hands face up towards the sky. And just resting the awareness on the breath. Quietly acknowledging your breath, that it's been with you from the moment that you were born. It's always here, always available for you to tune into, to anchor into. Expanding the awareness out from the breath into the entire body. Pausing for a moment to acknowledge everything that the body has done with you over the last hour and over the course of your life. Drawing the hands to the heart, leaving the eyes closed. Inhaling. Exhaling, gently bowing the body forward. Sending thoughts of thanks, of kindness and gratitude. Perhaps even of love to yourself, to your body, to your breath. Extending those same thoughts, those same wishes out to the world. Inhaling, lifting the body up. Gently blinking the eyes open. And namaste. The spirit in me respects the spirit in you. Thank you for joining me.